In this video, I'm going to be giving away the strategy to help you generate leads and turn those leads into customers every single day for your trade and home improvements business. If you run a trade or home improvements business, then you know how hard it can be to balance the day-to-day of being on the tools, delivering really high quality work for your customers, and then taking the time out to focus on getting new clients, generating leads, making sales, and actually growing the business. One month you might have loads of inquiries, and the next month it'll be completely dry and you'll start feeling stressed and worried about where the next customer is going to come from. When you don't have a system in place for reliably attracting new customers, you're basically in something called the feast-famine cycle. Over the last 12 months, I've been working on a system that solves this exact problem. We've managed to generate thousands of leads and hundreds of thousands in sales for my clients. I worked with a range of clients in the property industry, from electricians to property sourcers to high-ticket mentors. In the video today, I'm going to be talking specifically about trade and home improvements businesses and teaching you how you can generate leads every single day, turn those leads into sales reliably, and then systemize referrals and testimonials from your existing customers to get even more business on the back end. This is a structured way to get high quality, high ticket customers for trades and home improvement businesses, such as kitchen and bathroom fitters, landscape gardeners, windows, doors, garden rooms, garage conversions. You get the picture. This is going to be the first video in a series where I'm going to be helping trade and property business owners grow their businesses, so make sure you're subscribed and check out the other videos in the description. Let's not waste any more time and get into the content. So before I share with you the actual strategy for generating the leads, it's really important to understand something about buy-in stages. So what most business owners do is when they run ads or they post on social media, they will market their offer to pretty much 3% of people, because only 3% of people are actually ready to buy now at any given time in a market. So let's say you are operating in the electric vehicle charging market in Cardiff, okay? Of all the people who are interested in potentially getting an electric vehicle charger installed in Cardiff, only 3% of those people are actually ready to buy right now. So if there's 100 people who are, in a position to potentially buy a charger, 3% of them are actually looking for a quote. So when you're posting an ad and you're saying, come on, get a quote, or do you want to buy an EV charger? Do you want us to come and install one? You're missing 97% of people, which is something to really think about, and this blew my mind when I heard this. This is taken from a book called Sell Like Crazy by Subry Subby. He's worth tens or if not hundreds of millions. I think he's on the Australian version of Dragon's Den, something like that. So what are the other 97% of people actually doing? So we've got 60% of people that are not problem aware. So when you say not problem aware, it's important not to get confused with this. So these people have a problem. So the EV charger may be a bad example. If we look at landscape gardening, for example, they have a problem that their garden is not their dream garden. Like the only way they would not have a problem is if they literally had their dream garden. But they're not really problem aware. It's not really agitating them at the moment. So they might see a friend with a new garden or a nice garden, and they might just feel a little bit jealous. It could be as simple as that. They could see a TV show or a social media post of, again, a really nice garden, and it just starts to play on the back of their mind a little bit that their garden is not what they really want it to be. So 60% of people are there, and they're really not gonna get a quote because they don't even know that they've got a problem at the moment. They're sort of unaware that they might have a little bit of pain, but they're completely unaware, to be honest. So these people, I would not bother running ads to unless you get really advanced. Then we've got 37% of people. So 20% of them are in the problem aware stage. So these people, they might have seen social media posts or they've seen a friend with a new garden, and they are, speaking to their husband, speaking to their family, and going, I don't like our garden. Look at Dave's new garden. It's so nice, so much nicer than ours. So then they start doing a few different things. They start researching online how they might, solve their problems. What are the options they've got? And this isn't research with intent to buy. This is more just, they may be looking on Instagram. They may be looking on Pinterest at garden ideas, looking at design inspiration. They may be looking at different types of things they could do to their garden. Watching YouTube videos of people who've done it themselves and things like that, and that sort of thing. So they're not seriously considering it yet, but they're aware of their problem, that they don't like their garden, and they're starting to do a few different things in the market to kind of help them move up towards a buying stage. And remember, not everyone is going to actually get to a buying stage, to be honest. Like, people can live with these problems. So you don't want to be wasting your time on every single person. But it's just to be aware that these people sort of move up the pyramid like this. So then that brings us to 17% of people, which are in information gathering mode. So what I tend to think about with these people is they are the difference between the problem aware and the information gathering mode. I like to think of this half of the triangle. They know that they're going to buy. They've made the decision. They might not be actively looking for quotes yet, but they've decided as a family, right, we're gonna do our garden. Let's save up a bit of money. We're definitely gonna get this done. So again, they know what they want. They're figuring out who can help them. They're starting to research a lot more deeply now than this stage. So where here they might just be looking for inspiration, looking at options. Here they might be trying to figure out how much it's roughly going to cost. They're asking all the questions that they might be worried or unsure about. So, do they need specialist equipment? Is it even possible to do it themselves? How long will it take? All these kind of questions, and anything that you can sort of think of, they're going to be thinking that in this stage. So they know what they want. They're figuring out who can help them, and they're asking all the questions that they're worried about or unsure about. And then finally they move up to buying mode, which is where most people start advertising, where we've only got 3% of people, and they're actually actively looking for a quote, or looking to get design done, or looking for someone who can actually help them right now and start getting the ball rolling. So that's just something to think about. And then I'm just going to quickly take you through it as a real life example. So like I mentioned, landscape gardeners, 60% of people will be in this stage. They visit a friend's house who's got a new modern garden. They start to see gardens and take notice of gardens on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and they start to feel a little bit embarrassed by their garden. They don't really want to bring their friends around for a barbecue, that kind of thing. Problem aware, what things might they be doing there? So they might be asking questions on YouTube or on whatever internet. How can I modernize my garden? They might be looking at different ideas, different designs. They might be just sort of bringing it up with their family. They might be planting the seed a little bit, starting to get the conversation rolling with, I think we should get our garden done. And that's really important with this is, with offers like gardens, home improvements, it's not going to be like an impulse decision, and that's the main thing to think about. Then when they're in information gathering mode, they're asking stuff like how much does it cost, how long will it take, and then what do I need to worry about, what things might go wrong, what do I need to think about before I get my garden done. You get the picture. And then finally, what might they be searching when they're in buying mode. So they might be searching for landscaping companies near them. They want a full garden design, and they might want a quote for the job. So there's 3 different things there. And these bottom two especially, they want to know, they want to get an exact price, because can they actually afford it? And if they can afford it, they want to be getting a design for their garden, because they're not just going to go and buy a garden without seeing the end picture these days. So why am I actually telling you this? This is really important, because when a lot of people try and run Facebook ads, we tend to just run these. So we might run a quote or a garden design ad, and that's fine. But obviously, as we now know, we're only hitting 3% of people, so a lot of our money might be getting wasted on these people. There's 97% of people here who we're not actually going to be reaching with those ads, because they're not ready, they're not at that stage yet. So it won't work for every type of business, but for a business like a kitchen fitter, a landscape gardener, for example, potentially a lot of home improvements type businesses especially, we can really target people in these stages. So the 37% of people who are kind of in information gathering / problem discovering mode. And the way we do this is by having different types of offers, essentially. So the first type of offer is high intent. So these people are in buyer mode. So this is the 3% of people. Okay, so we have maybe we offer a free service / consultation. So it might be a design for a garden. Maybe it's a house inspection. Those kind of offers work really well for high intent. Maybe we're giving them a free quote or an estimate for like a garage conversion again, or for a landscape gardening. Or maybe we're actually giving them samples. So we know that, if we're a flooring company and people are looking for samples, that's quite high intent. They're actually searching for different flooring that they can actually use on their house. And again, maybe we will offer a sample mixed with a quote, and you might have a mixture of offers. So what do we actually offer when we want to reach the sort of 37% of people who are in problem aware or research mode? So what I've found, and what other people have found works really well in this case, are different things like free guides. So the people have loads and loads of questions, they have worries, they have anxieties, they have there's basically roadblocks before they can actually get to the stage where they want a quote. And what this free guide is meant to do, or brochure or quiz, is to basically break down every single roadblock and answer all their questions, all their worries in a nice, concise, easy to download way. And what this also gets them to do, and I'll come on to this a little bit later, but if we can get them to download something like this, that is a really strong signal to us that they are not quite ready, but they might be moving up to this stage sometime soon. Obviously, in an ideal world, we would just bang out loads of quotes and have, we advertise to 100 people and 100 of them ask for a free quote, and our calendar's fully booked for 6 months. That's obviously an ideal world, but that's not how it works. What we need to do is, because we know 3% are on this stage, 37% on this stage, so we're now actually hitting 40% of the market, and the other 60% we don't need to worry about too much, because they're going to be a long way off buying yet. But now what we can do is we can give them a free guide. What this does is we're building trust, because you're giving them information. It builds reciprocity, because you're helping them answer their questions. So I know Wren Kitchens, they have like design brochures, all the kitchen companies, and they don't just do that for fun or to be helpful. They are getting signals of interest, but they're also ascending people up the stages of awareness. Okay. Another one that works quite well is a quiz. So it might be something like which EV charger is right for you. Don't get the wrong one on your house, or everything will be a disaster. People then, you can use fear tactics and stuff like that to actually get signals of interest as well. So now that we're armed with this information, we can run adverts a lot more effectively. So the way to think about ads, I would probably do test different ads. We're still going to run some ads to the 3% of people, because that's like the low-hanging fruit. That's the people who will want quotes, the people who will become clients, and we can get on sales calls straight away. But we're also going to run ads to the 37%. And in some cases, guys, this isn't going to be applicable to your business. Trying to think of something that sort of doesn't really work for. If you have more of like a low ticket offer, like maybe it's you're a carpet cleaner and you're charging like £100 a day, people don't really need to download a guide. This really is only for people with high ticket services, £1,000 plus. These sort of guides and stuff, they're going to work a lot more effectively. Here I've got written £25 a day. If you can spend or allocate £25 a day towards ads, you can generate enough results, especially if you're selling services for £1,000 or more. You will be spending less than £1,000 a month. You'll be spending, I think it's about $750 a month, and as long as you're not like absolutely terrible at selling, and as long as your offer is decent, you will make a good return on £25 a day. If you're running your ads correctly, you have a good offer and you're good at selling. Okay, so we run 50% of our ads to the 3%, we run 50% of our ads to the 37%, and we just have different ads. We test loads and loads of different ad creatives. So creative is like the picture or a video you see, and then we test loads of ad copy, which is the text. We basically whittle it down, find out what works, and then essentially push that one even further with so basically, just to give you a bit of a deep dive, if we're spending 25 a day, we can allocate that. So we could do £5 over 5 different ads. Sorry, my fives are terrible there. You don't have to spend like £25 per ad, if that makes sense. So you could even do like like £2 a day tested on 12 different ads or whatever. So we can test loads and loads of different things. Right, so now that we've got ads, the next thing is, where do we actually send people who click on our ads? So we've got our offer, which would be one of these things. So mixture of these things, maybe we're doing a free service, free consultation, and sometimes your offer is literally just your business, your main thing. So if I was selling desks, my offer might not be any of these. It might just be 10% discount on desks right now. Not saying it's a good offer, probably wouldn't sell very well, but it can work. So, but in the case of home improvements, property businesses, this is what's going to work best. We're going to run one type of sort of problem aware or research mode offer, and then we're going to run one type of high intent offer. So it might be a free quote, an estimate, it might be a service, some sort of inspection design. You get the picture. So we're running our offers, and this is where we send people to. Okay, so we have a landing page. You might already have a website. I want you to disregard your website unless it is bringing in like a lot of business. Don't worry about your website for now. Okay, this side is going to be the quiz type offer. And then this side is simply, zoom in a little bit, you can see request a free quote today. These two different landing pages have been proven to work, and they've generated hundreds of £1,000s for home improvements businesses. So what we do, we have our software here called Social Flow. We basically create you a new account, and then if I just show you the client snapshot, so you get a new account in Social Flow, and then we will pretty much use one of these proven websites and change everything to your branding, so it will all look like your brand. We'll have your logo, colors, we'll change the fonts, but we'll keep the layout fairly similar because the layout is what's proven to work, and then the copy that's on the screen. So we'll obviously change it to depend on your offer, but the copy is going to be fairly similar. And we'll use one of these for your business. So depending on the offer that you're running, you might have a quiz funnel, you might have a lead magnet funnel. Like if I show you one of my clients who's running a lead magnet funnel that's really good. So this is actually a lettings agency, but this is sort of what it would look like. So we've got our checklist here. People click to download the checklist, enter their details, and then we've got their details on the system. So this is just what it looks like once you sort of fill in the form. So once you click that button, you come to this page where you're getting a free quote or a free design coupon worth £99. And then this one is you basically fill in the quiz, and then you basically put in your details, and then the company gets in touch with you, or your company will get in touch with them about their answers essentially. So all three of these types of funnels work really well. So you've got like the checklist type one, you've got like a straight up quote, or free quote or design service, or you've got a quiz funnel. And what you can actually do, because this is a funnel, not like a website, let's say they fill in this page here. What we can do is once they click submit on this page, we actually then send them over to this page, and then the people who've done that might actually a percentage of those people will actually go on and just ask for a quote anyway. So now we've got our quotes, we've got our leads coming in. What actually happens with those leads? So within this same software, you've got calendar booking software and you've got a CRM. So every time a new lead inputs their details in either this or this, they'll appear in our CRM. You'll get an email and a notification to your mobile, and you'll get cause there's like an app that goes with it. So you'll get a notification. So basically an automation will send a notification to your phone saying, hi John, Sam Jones has just submitted the form. Here is what he said. Give him a call now and qualify him, whatever it may be. Then what the client or what you will do is you will ring up the lead. You will ask them a couple of questions, ideally, and then you will send them to a calendar or just do it over the phone and book in like a proper consultation. So it might be, if you're doing a quote, you might need to actually go out and see the client's property. You get them to schedule in a time. You have access to this, or you can send them a link, and then it's simple as that, and it runs really, really smoothly. So you've got a CRM system there, so right, these are all the people who have filled out my form. Then you move them over if you've actually called them and contacted them, and then if they have a viewing or an appointment booked in, then you move them over there. Obviously you can do the appointment via Zoom, you can do it in person, whatever works, whatever your sales process is. If you don't actually have a sales process, obviously I can help you with that as well. But yeah, and then we run like automations. So this is an automation for a lead to booked call. So essentially when someone has just wanted to download our lead magnet, so that might be something like this, they haven't actually booked in a call with us yet. We've got their phone number and their email, but what we'll also do is set up automation, so you'll get a notification, and then we'll send them what's called nurturing emails. So we'll just provide them with value, we'll tell them a little bit about what you do, we'll show them some case studies about how you helped people who are just like them, and that will prompt them then to go up to the calendar booking page and actually book in to get their free quote or whatever it may be, or to give you a call. That's like a really, really rushed overview. I know it's taken like almost half an hour, but that's essentially the most simplified version of the system that I can pretty much show you. It's generated literally 6 figures in the last year for my clients. One of my clients, we launched the system and he got a $4,000 sale within a week. Literally, we didn't even start running the ads yet. We just set up the system. He did one post on social media. We got 36 leads came in from that one post because he had now the updated offers. Everything looked smooth on his landing pages. All the automations went through. He booked in a call with that client and he closed the $4,000 sale before we even started running the ads. So this system is really powerful, and all the clients I've worked with so far have been in the property industry, but what this system works best for is trades and home improvements, because honestly I've worked with far more complex businesses and gotten really good results, and with a trades and home improvements business, it's a lot more of a straightforward process to go from someone not knowing about your business to them becoming a client and paying you tens of thousands of pounds potentially. So just to reiterate, this works for like kitchen and bathroom fitters, flooring companies, people who do like media walls or like specific type of renovations. Like it could be you might like be like a specialist in building like home offices or something like that. Landscapers or gardens, maybe it might be fencing, decking, things like that. Garden rooms, definitely this would work for. Garage conversions, loft conversions, or anyone with a particular niche within home improvement. So it might be you're an electrician but you fit just car chargers and you just bang out car chargers every single day. If you're like a generalist, this isn't really going to work very well because for reasons I won't go into at the moment. Maybe you're a plasterer. It might work for general plasterers, but if you do like some sort of Venetian plastering, things like that, that'll work really, really nicely. And then there's a few sort of prerequisites for this to work. So you need to really have good results and previous clients. Otherwise it's going to be a lot more difficult for this to work. It still could, so don't give up if you're sort of a new business, but it's going to work a lot better with good results because we can talk about them in the ads and stuff like that. You've got to be willing to be proactive with sales and leads. If a lead comes into your pipeline and then you leave it a week before you contact them, they're probably going to already have a quote from someone else, and it's a waste of money on the ads. So ideally you need to be contacting them within 24 hours. The sooner the better, because you're building up trust, you're getting that initial point of contact with them. It's just going to work a lot smoother. And I want people who are willing to or looking to run a business and not just have a job. There's no point running around being like a busy fool. You need to be looking at this from like an operational business perspective. This is going to be your client acquisition system, and then you can worry about the day-to-day stuff, hiring. Once you've got demand, You can look at increasing supply and things like that. So that is pretty much the system. If you found this video useful, make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos helping specifically property and trade businesses grow. So I'm looking to partner with one ambitious trade or home improvements business owner. So over the next few months, I'm opening up space to work closely with one business owner to help scale their revenue, attract better leads, and build this entire system that will turn leads into customers. In Q1 of 2025, we've already seen amazing results for our clients and businesses in the property space. And I believe with the right trade partner, we can create something really, really incredible together. In the last 3 months, one of my clients has had 85 leads book a sales call with him. So that's an average of one sales call booked in per day. Another client, in month 1 of working together, we got 54 high quality leads and 7 sales appointments booked into his calendar. And these businesses that I'm talking about are far more complex than that of a home improvements business. I genuinely think that we could get even better results with the right home improvements business partner. I'm confident that with just £25 a day in ad spend, we could generate at least 30 sales appointments for a trade business over the course of a month, if not more. So now I'm just looking for the right person who I can partner with to actually run this system and help scale their business. So who am I actually looking for? I'm looking for a business owner who is serious about scaling their business and can handle some sort of volume of leads and appointments and actual work at the moment. I don't want to be letting customers down, because that's not the sort of business I want to work with. I want someone with a solid reputation and a track record of delivering top quality work. Someone who's open-minded and ready to implement the proven strategies that are proven to work. And someone who wants to build a top brand and expand their business to, not just this market, but you might move to different locations. You might have more guys on the road. You might expand your service delivery. Anything like that. Anyone who's really ambitious, I'd like to work with. And who I'm not looking for is a cowboy builder who cuts corners for quick cash and doesn't actually treat their customers well, delivers shit quality work, anything like that I don't want to go near. And then anyone who's not committed to long-term results and client satisfaction. So again, if you're not serious about running a proper business and building a brand, I don't want to work with you. So if that sounds like you or someone you know, click the button below this video or the link below this video, and we can have a little chat. I'm going to ask you a few questions about your business, and we can just go from there, see if you want to implement the strategies into your business. Hope this video was useful for you, and I will speak to you soon.